Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Watch Darius TV. I'm back with another review, and this one is of Saw X. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and share the video for all reviews of the latest movies coming out. Let's begin. So, I saw Saw X. I thought it was a pretty interesting movie. This is the first Saw movie I've actually watched maybe since possibly the third one, because I'm not gonna lie, they started making a lot of these movies, and I fell off of it. I know how Saw 3D ended. I like to how that went about. With I don't know. I probably want to spoil it, but if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you've seen the Saw movies. I like the way how Hoffman pretty much his end came being locked up in the bathroom from the first movie. I like the way everything came full circle. I believe I'm assuming this is like sort of like a Saw prequel in a way. This is the first Saw prequel, I think, because this one takes place in between the first one and the second one, and so that's interesting. This is about basically Jigsaw. He's trying to find some cure or whatever like that, or some type of help for his cancer diagnosis for his brain cancer, and he ends up finding these doctors, and we find out that they're fraudulent. So that's what this is pretty much all about. They throughout these Saw movies, they're always constantly doing flashbacks of certain stuff and how this happened. So this was like a whole movie dedicated to, I guess, a flashback. All of the stuff happened in between the first two movies. So interesting. We see more of John's life with cancer. We saw him pretty much get diagnosed with it, but we didn't see, I guess, a whole lot of his life with cancer. Like I said, after the third one, I kind of was in and out of these movies, so I don't remember seeing a lot of his life with cancer. Before he really started getting into kidnapping people and stuff. One of the lines that he said earlier in the movie after when he is sick with cancer. I like his quote that he says, your advice to me is to die easy." I thought that was a hot line. I thought that was a pretty dope line for him to say. Really cool. It really goes along with the character as to show how he's not gonna stop with his work. He's gonna continue to do what he wants to do, even with cancer. Testing people and stuff like that. So I thought that was a dope line. John sees. Then there's a scene where he sees like a young janitor, and he's like stealing a watch from a sick person, and we see that this guy ends up being put into a trap. There's like it breaks his fingers, and I think he has to like break his fingers from his hand before like the machine sucks his eyeballs out or something like that. And we see this trap is basically on the cover art of the movie poster, and creating the whole X thing. So then we end up finding out that this was actually just a complete fantasy because the kid ends up deciding to put the watch back. And I liked when John did say, "Hey, that was a good choice," because clearly he was able to keep his fingers in his eyes. So yeah, so that was pretty. I like that scene. It really sort of shows the character of Jigsaw as to how he gets down. Even though, I mean, putting somebody in a trap like that just for stealing a watch is a bit, But this is Jigsaw, so he does that type of stuff. John sees his friend Henry, who's also from his support group of people with cancer and stuff like that. We see that he's suddenly healthy, and the guy tells John there's some doctors that helped him out, which we kind of see what these doctors are all about. And John looks them up and finds info about them. And there's this main doctor named Cecilia. She has a desire to cure people and help people with their illnesses. So she decides to see John. So John is really desperate to get some help with his cancer, and so John goes to Mexico. Oh, also, one of the first red flags is the fact that this whole procedure is illegal in the States. So, I mean, no matter how desperate you are to get a cure for cancer, or get a cure from your illnesses, I don't know who anybody would really be willing to go out of the state to do something that's clearly not illegal within your own country. But I guess he was desperate, so so he basically goes to I think it's Mexico or New Mexico. I don't remember exactly which one, but not to say they're different. But anyway, he goes to Mexico, and he to get taken in by the doctors and stuff like that. He meets a guy that's a tourist, and he hops in the taxi cab with him to go see these doctors. Like I said, that first red flag, like I said, was this stuff being illegal in the States. That was the first red flag. The second red flag is these masked men coming with guns to take him to see the doctor. So this clearly just shows you that all of this stuff John really shouldn't be doing to begin with. He should be calling the police. Sometimes I wonder, is this the same stuff that Instagram models go through? On a side note, I want to say, is this the same stuff that Instagram models do when they want to get these BBLs, get these surgeries, and they fly out of the U.S. to get them? I wonder, is a whole procedure like this kind of going out of somebody telling you about some BBL you can get, and then you take a flight out of your country and you got to see armed men? I wonder, is that all what these chicks got to go through? If you guys know that, comment below, because I'm like, this is some pretty wild stuff. I mean, I know he got cancer and all, but I mean, to fly out of the country to go to Mexico, and you're told that it's illegal in the United States, and you got all these armed men coming to take you to these doctors. I mean, come on now. I mean, man, like, but I guess he trusted his friend Henry, so he decided to go along with it. So I don't know. John meets two people while he's there. These two young people. One is a young woman named Gabriella, and this one kid named Carlos. They seem like they're good kids. Then he ends up beating the doctor Cecilia. John also helps the kid Carlos with his bike, so that was a pretty nice scene. Developing their relationship shows that there's I guess John, Jigsaw isn't completely evil, I guess, even though, like I said, kidnapping and torturing people is not really the best thing, but sometimes I guess he can be nice to specific people, I guess, that don't fit his code. Anyway, so all these doctors, they work on John, and the surgery is a success up until John finds out that it was all a fraud. He ends up taking the wrap off, and he finds out that he actually did not get any of his cancer out of his brain, and it was all a complete fraud. So they completely finessed him. Pretty sick people, and that's how that was. Now, any other regular person would probably, I don't know, call police on these people, but John isn't a regular person. He's well, I don't even know if we can say that he's a serial killer or nothing like that, because he technically hasn't killed anybody, but he's definitely a mastermind. So John kidnaps the first person he kidnaps is the tourist that took him to this place, because he finds that he was a part of this whole plan too. And he let me see, kidnaps tourist because he takes these people, these fake doctors. So the first person he ends up, this is his first victim, is a tourist guy. He ends up kidnapping him and puts him in this weird type of trap where he has knives wrapped around his hand, and he has to cut the bomb off of him so in order for him to survive. Some real, I don't even know how does John even come up with this stuff, but the guy survives. He's able to somehow cut the bomb off of him, and he lived. And that's how that was. So, John calls, I think, a detective, and I think we kind of know who that might be. Spoiler alert, I'm going to get to that later on in this review. And he finds where these doctors are at, and he has each and every one of them kidnapped. And he brings back his pig mask thing, because, he's always wearing the pig mask throughout the Jigsaw movies, and he has each and every doctor kidnapped, and even the Gabriella girl. Everybody that was involved in this stuff, they all get kidnapped. Then the ringleader is the last one to get taken in, and it is revealed that Amanda has been helping him kidnap these people. It's clearly John is a sick old man, so he can't do this himself. So he's been having Amanda help him, and she's, this is her return of the show, and she's also back with an awful hairstyle. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know if that was a wig or something like that. I don't know what that was, but it was one of the worst hairstyles I've seen her have. She looked phenomenal in the third movie. And I know that was back in 2006, but it was like, I don't know what they were doing with that. Whatever hairstyle she had in the first three movies was way better than whatever they put on her head in this movie. But anyway, in this movie, Jigsaw is a little bit more different from the other Jigsaw movies. Usually he has like the whole Billy toy thing that talks to people saying, I want to play a game. And this time he's like front and center to watch these people, along with Amanda. He's basically up front and center watching these people go through their tests instead of having the doll talking to these people. And the first person that gets tested is a woman named Valentina. She's put into this trap. And basically, spoiler alert, she ends up like Herschel from The Walking Dead, because she ends up losing her head and her leg during this test. So there's that. She clearly did not survive her test. And we find out Cecilia has been basically playing people for years, with these bank statements. So she's been doing this for quite a long time. A really sick individual, The relationship between John and Amanda, I noticed, is sort of like foreshadowing their change as to what happens to them in Saw 3. Amanda feels that Cecilia doesn't deserve nothing. She just deserves, I guess, just to death, basically. She doesn't deserve to be tested. She just deserves to, I guess, die. And John doesn't feel that way. But then on the other hand, Amanda also doesn't want to see anything happening to the young woman, Gabriella. She seems like she doesn't really want this girl to be tested. She's worried about her, but John feels that she deserves to be tested also. So that's a sort of a little conflict in their relationship, it seems. because we already know what happens to Amanda by the time we see her in Saw 3. She just pretty much uh, just wants to, take people up out of here. I don't know what I can say on YouTube, so clearly, I'm trying to do a review of a horror movie and not say certain words and get demonetized. So I guess I got to use stuff like saying unalive. I guess that's a new thing that people say now. So basically, we see her in the Saw 3 movie. She was totally all about unaliving people. The doctor that was trying to help, that she kidnapped, that tried to help John in Saw 3 or whatever like that. She just pretty much turns evil. But anyway, um, Cecilia puts Cecilia thinks that this idea to after Valentina dies, she cuts out her guts basically and use it as a rope to be able to get access to a phone so she can call them for help. But she gets stopped by Amanda with some type of taser thing, so that's cut up out of it. That was out of there. That kind of shows a hint at how crazy this Cecilia girl is, that she was so comfortable being able to just. Oh, I forgot. Hold on, I forgot she's a quote unquote doctor, so I guess she's must be used to seeing insides of people. But I mean, that was a really scary scene to see. That was pretty gross. But anyway, Amanda seems to care. Like I said, she seems to care about Gabriella. And this girl is crying about wanting to leave, but she knows that she can't really betray John. So there's that. Then this guy named Parker comes and he wants to get revenge on the doctors because the doctors played him too. So the doll makes his return as to come along to give the guy named Matteo, put him in his brain surgery trap because he's the one that was supposed to be working on John, to remove the cancer from his brain. So now he ends up sort of having to cut up inside of his own head to, survive his trap. And basically he fails at that, and the trap just sort of closes and just, I guess, burns him, and he's done. So Gabriella's trap has her in some sort of like radiation trap, which is basically what John had to go through. He had to go through a lot of radiation therapy during his cancer. So ironically enough, she's put into that. And she basically has to like go full on Kathy Bates in Misery to free herself by getting this hammer and cracking her own ankle to free herself and her hand. And she still ends up getting barbecued, but she's able to finally survive and succeeds, one of the first people to succeed in her test. So even though she basically got completely flame broiled, but she survived, so that's good. Even though her face is burnt, her hand is messed up, and her ankle is messed up, she was able to somehow survive this, so that was good. Amanda is shocked, and she really wants to send Gabriella to the hospital, but Parker, he pulls out a gun on John to get Cecilia, to save Cecilia, because he's been working with her this whole time. He even says that he'll die for her, unalive himself for her, whatever, you know what I mean. So basically, he says he'll die for her, which is basically kind of a foreshadow as we see how this movie ends. And we already know that anytime when somebody tries to go against John's rules, it never works out for them. We saw that with Eric in Saw 2 when he tried to save his son and not follow the rules. Anytime somebody tries to go against the rules, it always ends up failing for them, but we'll see get into that. So Parker makes John get into a trap, which is kind of weird. It's the first time we see John in a trap, which is kind of odd. And it's some type of weird seesaw type of trap where he's like getting waterboarded by blood, and it's like somebody else. It's this weird type of seesaw thing. I don't know. John thinking of these crazy traps, and also the kid comes back, Carlos. So he's put into this trap too. They won't even put a child into this trap. These people are totally sick. Parker and Cecilia. Cecilia ends up unaliving Gabriella and just completely snaps her neck, and Amanda is completely shocked by it. It's kind of strange because Amanda completely turns into a total psycho in a Saw 3. So it was weird seeing her really care so much about somebody because she's it's kind of crazy. Anyway, Cecilia even didn't even care about her friends dying. That's how much she doesn't care about anything or anybody but the money. So she puts John in this trap with the kid, and that's what's happening to them. John and Amanda also were the ones to tell Parker that Cecilia's going to betray him. I mean, so that's also a foreshadow too, but he doesn't seem to really want to pay attention to it. Cecilia puts Carlos in this trap, and with John, like I said, this weird type of seesaw waterboarding type of trap they got going on. And Cecilia gets, she finally ends up deciding to go get her bag of money, but we end up finding out that it was a trap this whole time. And John gets out of the trap with Carlos, and Cecilia and Parker. They're trapped inside, and this like nerve agent comes on, just like sort of burning their skin. And only one of them could stick their head in through the hole to be able to live. And they basically just fight each other over that. We found out John. Let me see. John found out Parker. We ended up finding that John found out who Parker was from help from Hoffman and also the tourist guy that he kidnapped early in the movie. So he already knew who Parker was to begin with. So, John traps Cecilia and Parker in this like weird type of nerve agent gas trap that's inside this office, and they basically turn on each other. They went from quote unquote loving each other to fighting each other to survive, and basically Cecilia ends up living, and her boyfriend just completely dies. And I thought that his death was one of the most disturbing. We literally see the life flow from his eyes. That was totally disturbing. But we see that she survives, and she sticks her head through the hole so she can breathe, which is weird because, you got to question, well, how in the world is she going to get out of this? Is her head just going to just stay there? I mean, she can't get out, so I guess that's just it. We don't know how she's going to get out of there, but we see that she's the one that survives. She's one of the most evil of this movie, but she's the last one to actually survive. So John and Adam, no, not John and Adam, John, Amanda, and the kid Carlos leave. I think that they also give him the money to give to his family, so I guess at the end of this movie, John sort of turns into like this type of anti-hero type of thing going on. So, and that was the end of the movie. And then also at the post-credit scene, we find out that the guy that basically set him up to go see these doctors, Henry, we find out that he was lying this whole time. He wasn't healed. And John puts him in a trap with also Hoffman, who we see that he's back. And Hoffman helped John put this guy in a trap, and that's sort of a post-credit scene. But this dude lying this whole time. So anyway, I would say I thought this movie was really good. I really thought it was pretty entertaining. I'm not, like I said, I haven't really saw any of the Saw movies since like the third one. I know how like Saw 3D went, but I didn't really watch it. And then I didn't even care to see the Spiral one or the one that came out a couple years ago, back in 2017. I don't remember the name of it, but I didn't care about it because I kind of got tired of Saw movies. But this was pretty interesting. I'm curious to know if they're going to ever decide to make a sequel to this prequel. Is they going to make another one that take place between the second and third one or whatever? I don't know, but I thought it was pretty good. I give this one a 2 out of 4 stars. It was a pretty decent movie. I liked it though. Like I said, I haven't really been a huge fan of Saw, but I thought it was a pretty good bring back it isn't a reboot, but it was pretty good though. Anyway, if you like this movie, like this review, like, comment, subscribe, share this video for reviews of the latest movies coming out, and thank you for watching my review of Saw X.